What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 17, I believe this is, and it's titled Grease is the Word. So, you guys, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into this episode review. Alright, so the episode. It opens up, so we see Portia. Portia is getting ready for her Greece trip. She's got Mama Diane over to the crib with her. And then she gets notifications of the blog post. And we also see Eva. I think this thing with Eva was set up. Because it could have been set up, but Eva wasn't, if you guys kind of noticed, Eva wasn't pregnant. So I'm thinking this is after the season had wrapped. But Eva was doing her interview, and she got the blog post as well. So the blog post that I'm talking about is the one that we all saw where Kenya and Mark, announced that they were separating from one another. And so then we see Marlo and Nene are talking about it. Now, when it comes down to Marlo and Nene, with those two, it just felt like with those two, they were taking a little bit of pleasure in what was going on with Kenya, because we all know that both Marlo nor Nene really 100% care for Kenya. So, for them for Marlo to sit there and, talk about, is it true and stuff like that, I'm just like, Marlo, you don't care for Kenya. If you don't care for the girl, why are you sitting here asking questions about her relationship? And why is Nene sitting here entertaining it as well? I'll tell you why, because they're filming the show. So then we do see Candy, and we see Cynthia. So they go over to Kenya's house, and they're talking about, before they go in, they're talking about, everything. So Candy must have known a little bit of something about what happened between Mark and Kenya before they got there, but, she didn't want to really say too much about it. And they're talking about how private Kenya is. I'm like, she's private on a reality show, but she's always in other people's business. Yeah, that screams privacy. But, I'm going to let them have it. So then they go in there where Kenya is. Kenya is, down, sad, and she's a bit confused about the state of her marriage with Mark. I don't know how she's confused, So when I look at Kenya and Mark, I don't get a lot of chemistry from those two. I'm so sorry, but I don't get chemistry from them two. It just feels like, actually, I don't even know what it feels like, but there's absolutely no chemistry there. Like, because I was thinking about this, I'm like, with Brooklyn, but I believe Kenya did IVF, correct, you guys? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Kenya do IVF when she had baby Brooklyn? I'm just not remembering. But, Kenya's talking about the reason why she said what she said on social media is because she got a call from her publicist saying that, Mark was going to announce that they were, divorced. And so Kenya just, followed in suit because she had no other choice, because Mark had already done it. So she also talked about the fact that those two had issues at the party. So, he didn't pay her no attention. He didn't mention her. It was just a lot of shit at that party that and it was just like, why is he acting this way? He's been a complete asshole. So then, Kenya's talking about when they left, they got into an Uber, and he was living in the Uber, and he was going off, and until eventually the Uber told him, like, you got to get out. So he got out. And, somebody said this to me last week in my not my comment section, but the comment section on Ashley Miller's page. Because I put on Ashley's Twitter, on her YouTube page, I put in the comments that Kenya is Kenya is an abused woman. And someone told me not to use that word, that she's abused. She said it in this episode that she said he might not be physically abusing her, but it's abuse nonetheless. It's emotional abuse. Like, the man is not there emotionally for Kenya. So what do you call that? It's emotional abuse. But, Kenya's talking about how she doesn't really want to get a divorce. I'm thinking to myself, like, I get it. You want to salvage your marriage because you got a daughter, but you also have to think about that said daughter. You need to show your daughter what, when she grows up, don't let anybody treat you like this, especially a man. Don't let a man mistreat you. So stand up for your daughter. If that means leaving her father, by all means, do what's best for you and your child. Like, that's how I feel. Do what's best for you and your child. She also mentions to Candy and Cynthia that Mark had another woman, that he was taking another woman. I guess it was a woman that he was seeing before he got with Kenya, and the woman still want them to have have sexual relationships with each other. And I'm like, oh, so now it's making sense. And then Kenya says she called the woman. So here's my thing with Kenya. If this was going on in your relationship, why would you sit there and do what you did to Tanya? Why would you bring the cookie lady to Tanya when you got your own cookie lady that you got to deal with? Like, a lot of things with Kenya. I'm not attacking Kenya by no means, but she there's been some things she's done in the past that I'm looking at her relationship and like, your relationship is mirroring some of the stuff that you talked about. Like, you talked about Portia's marriage to Cordell. No matter how flawed and fucked up their relationship was, you talked about that. You talked about the fact that Kim Phil's husband, the people in the industry called him Chrissy. What do they call Mark? You talked about who else's relationship? You done Tanya and Paul did service by bringing the cookie lady up. You even did some shit to Phaedra and Apollo. Now, I'm not talking about the whole alleged cheating thing. I'm not talking about that. But she's made her references about Phaedra's and Apollo's marriage. No matter how fucked up their marriage was as well, you said some stuff about people's marriages. So I'm not saying that Kenya's getting what she deserves, but it's just like, take a good long look in the mirror. You've said this stuff to other people. But, my main thing with Kenya is, Kenya, you just really gotta take a long, hard look at what you want out of a relationship. And you gotta just be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be okay with that. And I can't imagine that I couldn't be okay with that. Again, you have a daughter. Like, show her what you show her, you definitely show her what a strong black woman is. But be that strong black woman and show her that you don't need a man to do anything for you. So I just hope that Kenya and Mark figure it out. If they stay together, I hope he treats her much better than what he's doing. If they don't stay together, then I hope Kenya, she's a great mother. I'm not gonna sit there and say anything bad about her. But more so what anything in this, what I want is just for her to be a perfect example to her daughter. Let her, because if her daughter grows up and sees the way that her father has treated her on this show, I just can't imagine how that would feel. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So next, we got the girls that are all showing up to the airport to head to Greece. We got Portia there with Mama Diane, and she has little Peter there with her. We see Marlo show up. We see Nene show up. I was confused as to if Nene was wearing pajamas to the airport. We see Cynthia there. Candy shows up. Everyone is there, with the exception. We also saw Tanya. Paul dropped Tanya off, but we saw everyone with the exception of Kenya. Now, once Candy got there, Marlo wants to talk to Candy about this whole situation with Mark and Kenya. Now, here's my thing with Marlo. Marlo, you and Kenya are not friends, so why do you feel that? I get it. You guys are all in the same group, the same circle, but you and Kenya don't really see eye to eye. You don't care for each other, so why are you concerned about if what the blogs are saying are true, that she's getting a divorce? Why do you care? Like, I didn't understand that with her. Now, Nene did say something that this is karma for Kenya after what she did to Tanya. Do I agree with Nene that is karma? Do I agree with Nene that is karma? Not really. Because this might have been going on before the whole cookie lady situation. So I'm not going to necessarily say, yes, this is karma for Kenya. So, no, I'm not going to say that. I can't say that this is karma. It might have been like a slap in the face to her, but I don't know if it was karma. If you believe it was karma, let me know. But I don't believe it was karma. So like I said, yeah, they all head out to Greece. Now, when they do get to Greece, however, they see that Kenya is there as well. So Kenya, finally got herself together, and she booked a plane ticket. She got a plane ticket for Brooklyn, and the nanny. So they are all in Greece together. So, they get on the bus. they talk about the room situation. I actually have to agree with Portia. Why do we? I mean, after all these years, why can't we just go to a nice place? They all have good rooms. You all get a good room. Like, why does this room situation have to be such a big deal? I mean, I guess they amp it up for the show, but it's really at this point it's really stupid. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. What else happened? So yeah, Cynthia talking about she doesn't really want to share a room. I'm like, why don't you want to share a room? And then when she said it, she was going all around the bush, and me and Marlo said at the same exact time, girl, just say you want to have phone sex. Like, damn. Tell them you want to have phone sex. Tell them you want to play with yourself, with your man, and leave it at that. You know, that is a good question to ask. How many people out there actually have phone sex? I tried it once. It was the worst thing in the world to me. It just did not work for me. The one time that I tried phone sex, I'm like, yeah, what? I felt like one of those phone sex operators, because I know they just be sitting at their sitting at a computer, just like, yes, you know, doing those, making those moans and all that stuff, and they not really doing nothing to themselves. That's how it was for me with the phone sex that I had. I was actually watching Family Guy on mute, just, you know, going through the motions, like, you know, making the noises, then, you know, pretending like I'm, or, you know, you know, climaxing, wasn't doing shit, just laying in my bed, just watching Family Guy. And the funny part was I was laughing the whole time. And like, you know, I wasn't laughing out loud, but you know how you be you had those silent laughs where you just be laughing and nothing's coming out. That's what it was. The phone sex was just a no go for me. I can't do it because it's like, why are we having phone sex? I get that we're not, you know, face to face, but God, what the fuck are we doing? This is ridiculous. Now, no offense to anybody who does phone sex, who likes phone sex. It just ain't for me. I can't get with it, unfortunately. Sorry, you guys, I just can't get with phone sex. It's not my stilo. Not my stilo. Oh, you know, that's so funny. Speaking of phone sex, never called the phone sex line, but I did call Miss Cleo. Way off topic, but it was funny. It's just something I thought about. So, how old was I when I did that shit? Oh, my mom was pissed. My mom was pissed because that phone bill was high. The phone bill was high that month. Because she said, did she tell you anything? No, she didn't tell me nothing. Because I was just like, I want to know I want to know if Miss Cleo was real at that time. Like, I'm like, she said, call me now. I'll tell you your future. Well, she didn't tell me what my future was, because my future was that I got grounded for calling her dumb ass. Rest in peace, Miss Cleo. But so yeah, they make it to, I think they're in the villa that they're staying in. So they make it there. So instead of, they come up with something different where they compete for the rooms. So the first thing is someone has to, it's a mystery prize. It's a mystery. When Cynthia immediately raised her hand, so they said, okay, all you gotta do is just clean up, wash the dishes for the night, and you get to pick your room. So Cynthia picked first. The next one was makeup. So someone had to take off their lashes and all their makeup. Nene said, shit, I got that. So Nene took off her stuff. Then the next one was they had to eat some food. It was sardines, it was raw octopus, and it was something else. It was three things. But all I can remember was the sardines and the raw octopus, which I would have did what Portia did. I would have spit that shit right out. But Tanya ended up winning that one. Oh, God, I don't know how Tanya ate that shit. But Tanya is from Canada, so, you know, never mind. So then, the last one was somebody had to run and jump in the pool. And Portia, she took her ass off and jumped in that pool. Now, let me back up to Portia, because Portia cracks me up in this episode, you guys. So when they got to Greece, they got to the house, there were a lot of cats around. Which I know that there was a lot of cats in Greece, but, you know. No, that's what country is that where they don't have cats? And if, because it was a country, or it's a I think it's one of the Middle Eastern countries. Is it Istanbul that they don't really have cats there? It's a Middle Eastern country. I just can't think of the country right now. I can't think of the country. But yeah, they got there. It was a lot of cast. Portia in her interview, she killed me. Oh, who knew there was so much pussy in Greece? Good thing I lived in this center. Good thing I didn't bring this with me. Pussy to my left, pussy to my right. I was dying when you just talking about pussy. I cracked up. Portia's funny to me. I love Portia, you guys. Portia is my girl. So let's just move on, you guys. You guys, I did not think this video was going to be long, but this video might actually end up being longer than what I expected it to be. I expected this video maybe to be maybe 16, 17 minutes, maybe at the least. But I think this video is going to go a little bit longer than that. So back to Portia. Because Portia, she jumped in the pool. What she could do was she could take anybody's room, any that had previously picked. She took Tanya's room. I actually watched Candy speak on it not too long ago. Candy was talking about that all the rooms were nice there. The only thing about the room that Tanya didn't want was that it didn't have a window. What else? I watched Candy speak on it, and then I also watched the after show. Um, the after show, I'm not gonna talk about that because I haven't finished that yet. But I don't know if I kind of don't remember finishing. I did finish Candy speak on it. She didn't really say too much that we didn't really gather from the episode. I don't remember. Did she say anything that we didn't gather from the episode? No. No, she didn't. If she said something, if she said something and I remember, I'll talk about it, and I'll talk about it. But let's get back to the episode and my thoughts on it. So we see Cynthia. So Cynthia went to Nene's room. So Cynthia is talking to Nene, and she's asking Nene to basically, since I'm not gonna say she's the oldest one. Well, she might be the oldest of the girls. It's between her and Cynthia, who's the oldest, right? But that's neither here nor there. But she's the one that's been married the longest out of all the girls. So she feels like, Nene might be able to, have some words of wisdom for Kenya going through the situation. Because we all remember that Nene and Greg have been through the same situation where they divorced. But they ended up coming back together and getting married again. And Nene says, you know what? I can actually have a conversation with Kenya. I'm like, wow. I was not expecting that from Nene. So, we see the ladies. They have dinner. So Candy's telling the girls about her role on The Shy. Now, remember when she was originally auditioning for the part, she was auditioning for a lesbian who was in a relationship with a woman, but the role that she got is she's in a relationship with a man who's running for, I believe she said, city council or mayor or something like that. Watching last week's episode with Candy doing that just awakened something in me. It just made me think to myself, like, damn. I would love, because acting is something that I used to love when I was in school. I was in theater and stuff like that. Acting and music are things that I love. And it just made me think to myself, you know what? You need to take it seriously and try to get yourself out there. You don't have to move to, because I think that's a problem with a lot of people who want to be actors and singers and models and stuff. They feel like they have to move to LA, New York, Atlanta and stuff like that where, you can get discovered. I don't think you have to necessarily move to those areas. If you know the peak timing to go out there, like with casting seasons, go to those areas and put yourself out there, but you don't necessarily have to move out there. So that's what I'm telling myself right now, is that I don't have to move to these areas. I just have to educate myself on things in the business, like maybe create myself a reel and things like that, and just put myself out there. Terrified about doing it, but I'm going to get into doing that stuff. Very, very terrified. So, we're sitting down talking. Nene had a conversation, wanted to ask Kenya about her dogs. I'm like, okay, breaking the ice. Nothing wrong with that. Now, Kenya kind of snubbed her for a minute, but I'm like, why, Kenya? Like, I get it. You and Nene are not cool. You ain't gonna never be cool. But Kenya did eventually answer her about the dogs. That she does have the dogs, and Brooklyn loves the dogs. And, then she starts to cry about, her relationship with Mark, which understandably so. So then she starts to she thanked Cynthia and Candy for being there for her. And then she also thanked Portia for texting her. And she also thanked Tanya. And strangely enough, she thanked Marlo. I was like, wow, she just thanked Marlo. Of all people, Marlo. And she snubbed the fuck out of Nene. I was like, but Nene was the one who brought it up at the table. Like, why would you snub her? Like, I get that, you know, Kenya and Nene had their issues, but I don't think that Kenya could have said, you know, when also I do thank you as well. You know, that was big of you to, you know, ask me about anything, knowing the history between you and I. That's what Kenya could have said, but Kenya snubbed her. Don't know why. So then after dinner was over with, you know, Cynthia's going to go wash the dishes. So she asked for Portia. She asked for Tanya. She asked for Candy. She asked for Marlo. She asked for those girls to join her, leaving Nene and Kenya to fellowship. Nene and Kenya to fellowship with each other. Nene said, "I'm cool with that." Kenya didn't say anything. Kenya got up from the table and walked away. I'm like, oh my God, Kenya, this woman literally just said she's okay to fellowship and have a conversation with you. Like, you didn't even, you could have at least, Kenya, you could have at least acknowledged Nene. I know, again, you and Nene are cool. You're not going to never be cool. But the fact that the woman said, you know what, I'm cool with sitting down and having a conversation with her, that would have prompted me to say, you know what, even if I felt like Nene wasn't coming from a genuine place, I would have said, you know what, Nene, thank you so much. But, you know, right now, just with everything that's going on in my life right now, and the fact that you and I are just not that close, I do appreciate you for wanting to have a conversation with me. But right now, I just want to kind of go lay down. I'm not, you know, in the best mood right now. But at a later date, we can definitely sit down and we can definitely have a conversation with each other. But right now, it's just not the time for me. That's what Kenya could have said instead of just walking away. So then when she did go inside, Candy kind of checked on like, Kenya, Nene wanted to talk to you. She's like, and then Kenya just basically regurgitated what I just kind of said, that yeah, they had their history, but right now she just doesn't want to deal with it. And that's what Candy said, like, you could have said that at the table, Kenya. And then she says, you know what, I'm gonna go take her some baklava, and maybe we can, you know, and then I can explain that to her. But then you know, Kenya went out there to give it to Nene, she was like, no. And I'm actually on Nene's side at that point. No, like, I extended the olive branch to you a few minutes ago, but you snubbed me not once but twice. So now I don't want to talk to you. I'm good. Like, you can do you, I'm gonna do me. So in that instance, I definitely understood Nene, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I was on Nene's side. So then, you know, Candy comes to Kenya's defense again. And I'm siding with Nene. Besides the fact that she said I stole her child and I slept with her husband. What? I was with Candy. What the fuck are you talking about? But I am on her side about the fact that Kenya snubbed her. Like, I just sat here and tried to have a conversation with homegirl, and she walked away from me. So it is what it is. Like, I ain't got nothing else to say to her. But you guys, that was the Real Housewives of Atlanta. How many more? I wonder how many episodes we have left. I don't even know if they haven't even filmed a reunion yet. So when is the reunion going to film? We're already in March. How much longer is Real Housewives of Atlanta gonna go on? God, oh God, it can't be that much longer. It really can't be. They should be getting ready to film the reunion. You know, I'm about to go look at Andy's Twitter to see, because Andy needs to hurry up and post these questions for the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, because I'm tired of it right about now. Bring on Married to Medicine Los Angeles and Real Housewives of Potomac. But you guys, that was the episode. Be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys don't want to drop anything else. Share this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for, what do I see you guys for tomorrow? Oh, the season finale of Love and Hip Hop New York and Love and Hip Hop Miami. So catch you later, guys.